The blindfolded test. Hello, wife and I have been married for 10 years. We are in our late 30s. We have 3 young children together. Recently I found out that at the start of lockdown she befriended a colleague. When lockdown shut down the workplace, they started texting daily with good mornings and general discussion. That somehow turned into texting and picture exchanges. They would set up play dates at parks and kids' activity places so the kids couple see each other, all the while sending graphic texts when they got home. But nothing ever in person and no physical contact. When the workplace opened up, they saw each other daily and spoke about general everyday things, and then they would go home and text and exchange pics all night. It all came to an end when the man's wife found out, who then contacted me. I definitely had my share of blame with ignoring the marriage, but didn't deserve this. Both parties swear it never became physical, but I will never know the truth. What about lunch breaks or walking out to the car at night after work? Their affair lasted 17 months. Not sure how I can come back from this. We've been seeing marriage counselors and individual therapy. I want to make it work, and so does she, but the thoughts won't leave my mind. It's been 2 months and every day feels like the day I found out. I've looked at Polygraph and she is willing to take one. Therapist says virtual relationships are at times just fantasy. Like when someone posts on Facebook and get hundreds of replies from people who would ordinarily not speak up. Trying to find something here that I haven't thought of. She is basically now just a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't want to go anywhere without me. She is hurt that she hurt me, admitted everything and volunteered information that I would have never known about. Trying to find reasons to stay and leave. Still in detective mode, but want to believe she is now telling the truth. If I do leave, I have to pay her an enormous amount and she likely gets kids as I work. Everything was deleted already. She deleted them daily. Would you say that if she did pass a polygraph and I confirm she is now telling the truth about physical activity, it is a step in the right direction? She admitted hugging him once and that was it. I've been speaking with the spouse. She is a pit bull and even tried tricking him many ways, saying my wife admitted physical activity. And he still said there was none. I am speaking to my wife as I type and she is crying that it was never more than messages, that was a fantasy to fill the time while I ignored her, busy supporting our family. We are both seeing individual therapists and then a separate couples therapist. She continues the same story even to her private therapist, as I had a recorder in the room. Either she is telling the truth about P or she is still being dishonest with her therapy. I do believe she wants to make it work and never would do this again. But the past unknown is what is killing me. Kids are 4, 7, 9. They did work together before lockdown, but office closed and everything went virtual, hence the virtual relationship. It was texts and meetings. Kids at park as he has same age kids. Once lockdown started, they didn't see each other. All credit cards are in my name, so I know if anything was spent. She said the daily love you, but said she never said it in person. She says they never even spoke physical in person, as she is truly very shy. On one hand, I honestly believe her, as I know her mentality. She can't even order at a restaurant without me helping. The other hand is, how could it last so long without a quick meeting at the grocery store parking lot, which I'd never know about. Physical life slowed down but was present. Definitely noticed a difference. But whatever, we both don't drink and go out at night. There was no opportunity other than daytime running errands. Over the past 5 years I've been promoted year over year at a difficult, stressful job and currently make 8 times what I was making when we first were married. 12 to 14-hour days at work in finance. When I came home, I was so stressed I really didn't want to talk about my day and didn't want to hear about the household problems, as I spent my days fixing problems elsewhere. I do recognize I made mistakes in the marriage as well. My wife was in as a good person, other than she was lonely, and the texting and compliments from this person was like an addiction for her. I do see that side of the story, as like you said, I don't want to throw 10 years and our children's future in the gutter if this is salvageable. I am not looking to point blame to either side. I know I made mistakes with the marriage and she is remorseful and admits her fault with the cheating. We are both still in love and trying to make it work. If I can forgive and maybe one day forget. I don't want to throw away our good memories. I know many people who made it work after infidelity. I guess every situation is different. Came on here to find ways to cope and understand. Maybe even seeking a female to help me with the mental state my wife may have been in. I know every guy, including myself, would be the first to say leave the cheating liar. Polygraph test was this morning and she passed all pertinent 3 questions regarding physical activity. We are each working on our issues and she is openly speaking to me about the issue at hand. Thank you everyone for your feedback during this difficult time. Physical contact pertaining to bonding or having any physical activity since marriage with anyone other than your husband. She did admit to hugging once, which came out on day 1. Also learned this guy was a predator. His wife said he has cheated on her numerous times. He definitely knew how to manipulate. My wife is shy, weak, quiet. Something came around that complimented her, etc. This is not her, which is why it was such a shock to me and what I feel is worth working on. When I say other guy was a predator, I say it not as an excuse for the infidelity, but it was a compensating factor. Yes, if it was not him, it may have been another man that came along. Not downplaying it. I am overly angry, upset, embarrassed, concerned, etc. I am, however, trying to make it work. My guilt is only for being an absent husband, which still is not an excuse for her behavior. I have never cheated. I am searching every resource possible to learn to cope and maybe one day forgive. If in time this still doesn't sit well with me, I know what my options are. She also was told it never became physical. 1 year of this they were apart and only communicating via Facebook because of lockdown, so they didn't have the in-person opportunity as if they were together every day. If they were together every day, then yes, I can see how an it can easily become P as she has totally parted ways with the OM. Comment: definitely cheated. 100%. Are powerful, often more powerful than affairs. Now caught, the wife has to be honest with herself. Does she love her OP? This is what I would do. I would give your wife an out. I would ask her if she has fallen out of love with you and do this without anger or malice. Give her the opportunity for you to let her go. Say it's okay if that's what she wants. See how she reacts to that. Don't make her stay just because she feels bad, guilty. She will either beg you no and plead and tell you she never meant to do this and she loves you and wants to work on the marriage, or she will just cry and say she doesn't know what to do. The former is something you can work with. The latter tells you to let her go. OP responds: did that multiple times. She begged me to stay. Cut off all contact with and I have 100% access to phone, computer. No more social media and camera disabled on phone. I'm not well but trying to make things work. She is deaf engaged and determined to keep our relationship. Yes, I want her as my wife at this time, just uncertain about the future if my emotions don't subside. My comment: you are in a tough position that no one would want to be in. You've got a long road ahead of you. I really hope she is worth the effort. She still was having an affair with this guy. Of course, she is going to beg you to stay. The other man isn't going to leave his wife for her. Story 2. I've been with my husband for going on 12 years. Dated for many years, then got married at 7 years. This is my first marriage and his second. He has 2 daughters, 14 and 12, and I have 1 daughter, 25. We have had many issues, from his drinking, to temper, to not communicating, to guilty father issues, along with a mini-wife daughter who competes with me, financial irresponsibility, cheated in the past, has been physically abusive in the past as well. The physical has stopped, but during times of anger he has punched things or thrown things. Issue 1. Most of our issues have stemmed from him not liking me setting boundaries and having say with discipline regarding his children, which they need. Their mom is a mess, divorced 3 times and now on to the next relationship. My husband is totally fine with me being a good stepmom and doing all of the fun things with them, but when it comes time for me to point something out or bring up an issue, I'm the mean stepmom. I don't have a say in what goes on in our home without backlash and him getting angry at me and telling me it's just you. Well, no, I'm sorry, but your 12-year-old still wanting to sleep with you and sit on your lap is an issue, and it's not just me. She's very immature emotionally for her age, and he isn't helping with the constant babying and over-coddling. He at first told me that he would sleep with his daughters at 25 if he wanted to once, and I was like, okay, that's odd. I'm using this as an example of how he reacts when I bring something up. The sleeping has stopped after much going back and forth and him telling me to shush in my own home cause they're sleeping. Everyone has to tiptoe around them. Every other weekend when they are here is hard. They're good girls. I love them and they need guidance. So, I have tried. I raised my daughter alone and we had a very different life growing to than the one tries and provide to my stepdaughters, and my daughter isn't perfect, but she's a really good girl. She's humble, respectful, and appreciates the small things, unlike his daughters who whine and complain about everything. The 14-year-old has full control of him. He doesn't even try to discipline anymore. He took herself for inappropriate behavior and she disappeared for months. Didn't want anything to do with us. He cried and always thinks he's the worst father. He's not. He spoils them and tries his best. Drops his plans whenever their mom or they need or want, including interfering with plans we have. It's really out of control. So now their mom is moving them to another state and he's of course having issues with that, which is understandable. She called for his blessing and he said no, so she went and filed the court form anyway saying that he agrees with the move, and she did this because she knows he has no backbone when it comes to her and the kids. She cheated and manipulated him their whole marriage and left him for another man. Has never stuck to the court-ordered visitation. He has never made her, so she doesn't take him seriously. He cries when he drops them off and turns to beer and then keeps saying how much he misses them already. It's very unhealthy, and I have told him he should talk to someone and he won't. He says he would never do that. He doesn't think he needs it and I'm the only one with problems. He says he only looks to the future. Issue 2. Anger, communication issues, entitlement, not facing reality. We can't have healthy conversations because he's so shut down emotionally. He walks away in anger every time I want to talk about something, whether it's positive or not so good. Our issues are all because of me. He's always saying if I wouldn't bring things up, we would be fine. That if I would just change my point of view and stop being so negative, we would be fine. I feel like I'm always walking on eggshells and don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It circles. He has even told me while I've sat in front of him crying and begging to talk and hear me that where am I going to get? That I'm wasting my time. He gets upset and walks away. We've never not once had a conversation that has come to a resolution. I'm not over-exaggerating either. Never. So, our issues are still there. He just flipped out because I brought up therapy. He said he's never going and that I married the wrong person. Why do I want to bring our issues to a stranger? That I can go if I want, and that he's always suggesting other ways around it like meditation, yoga, etc. I said those don't fix our problems. He said you're the only one with problems. I don't have problems. I look to a better future. He said I always bring up so much negative and I'm stuck. That I'm never positive and always have issues with everything. He said and so negative. That he had positive plans for us today, but I just screwed it all up and slammed the door. He makes me feel like I'm crazy. I'm trying to save our marriage. I'm not crazy. I said our issues are never resolved. He gets so angry with me and makes me feel like I'm nuts. Issue 3. Drinking. He typically drinks almost every day or every other. Most of the time it's not just 1 or 2 beers. Sometimes it's 2 6-packs. He is drunk and driven a lot before and I worry so much. His drinking has rubbed off on me and I drink sometimes now a lot during week to deal with it all. I'm allergic to wine and I still drink and I'm so sick the next day. He has said he would stop but he hasn't. He has, when drunk whiskey in the past, gotten belligerent over past conversations and things brought up about his kids. He has broken mirrors, pulled me off of a bed onto the floor and picked me back up and threw me on it. Has punched holes in walls. Most of those times I got no apology. If I wouldn't have did or said what I said, it wouldn't have happened. When we were together after a year, he hit me so hard out of nowhere after a night of drinking. I fell to the ground and Y dragged me down the hall by my legs while I was screaming and crying in shock. I had to get my back tooth taken out the next day. He hit me in the face and made my nose bleed. Most of this happened years ago and hasn't happened in a long time, but he still has anger. I don't know why I walked away a long time ago. Yes, I feel like I deserve it. So now we're at the point that his daughters are moving, which are a problem for our marriage, cause of disagreements, and I was thinking, wow, I finally will have peace and maybe things will get better. But here I am finding myself wanting to leave him. Seems backwards to me. I guess I'm afraid he's going to spiral in depression, go back to old ways and treat me like a punching bag. We have some great times together and he can be the nicest guy. Breakfast in bed. Buys me what I want, is really handsome and funny and smart, and I feel like we would be so good if he just met me halfway, but he won't budge. It's his way or no way. I know that I can be a worrywart and negative. I was brought up in a very dysfunctional family and he was too, but I'm not shut down emotionally like he is. He can be super emotional with other things like his kids to the point of crying, but lacks it with me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm trying my best to be a good wife and stepmom. I've done things with his children, have set special traditions, things I never did with my daughter when she was that age, but I still want to make things special for all of us, and it never seems good enough for him. The minute that I need to bring up a boundary or something that I think they need help with, I'm a bad stepmom. There have been times that I would leave very seldomly for a few hours while the kids were here because I felt like a fourth wheel, and he treats me very differently when they are around. The energy is very different. So, I remove myself because I don't want to be around that. And because of the 2 or 3 times I've done that in the last 12 years, I'm never around. He has 3 older sisters and he was very spoiled when he was younger. His older sister has even told me many times that he's a brat, has to have his way and nothing's ever good enough. I have major PTSD because of things that have happened in my past, and with him the emotional and physical abuse and 4 miscarriages that I've had, and sometimes it's very hard for me when things happen. And I just need to talk and I need support, and a lot of times it's just, why are you being so negative, why can't you just move on, etc, etc, and it makes me feel like I'm too dramatic or emotional or maybe too needy. I used to be more of an extrovert and very fun and chatty and outgoing, and I'm still very outgoing, but have found that I am now more of an introvert and I don't have much of a voice in situations, even at work, because I feel afraid that what I'm saying is wrong and that they will view me in a certain way. I feel like this is because he has tried to shut my voice down so many times in the last 12 years. So here I am again with 1 foot out the door at a time that I thought I would never leave because his children are leaving, and I thought maybe it would be an opportunity for us to really work on things and see where the issues really lied, but I'm afraid that it's not going to work. He's going to go back to old ways, he's going to not be very good to me, he's going to go into a depression and a funk, and I'm going to be stuck here dealing with more of what I've dealt with in the past. Right now, I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling like I just want to be alone. I want to work on myself. I want to find who I am really supposed to be and just live life happy and with some peace of mind and not constant worry over my head. I am active, I'm a good person, and I have a very good heart. I have a very good job. I have my life established financially and just maybe feel like it's time to start over. I am 44 years old and scared to start over because what if I wind up being lonely for a long time or don't have any wine, or what if I make a mistake and would have missed out on things and things to change with him? Then what? But I know that I'm probably not being very rational with that thinking. I recently have gotten on Zoloft, and before taking the Zoloft, leaving wouldn't even be a thought in my mind because I wasn't thinking, but now that I'm taking medication I am thinking more clearly, and this is why I'm at where I'm at. I went to see 2 apartments that I like very much and I got approved for and I can move into prior to September 1st. I also would feel guilty leaving him here alone knowing that his daughters are moving out of the state and because I know that he can't afford this house on his own. But I try to get him to move to a smaller place because we don't need such a big home anymore and that we could work around with the girls' visit, but he doesn't want to move. He wants to stay here over paying rent when we don't need all of the space. Another example of it's all about him. So, I know this is extra long and I'm probably all over the place because there is so much that has happened. I haven't even included everything that has happened. But I really need some input here. I also am very afraid how he will react if I do leave. What if I am a statistic because he can't handle it all? So, I know I'm jumping the gun, but I'm also scared. I have seen 2 counselors, both for a short time, but both did say my feelings were valid and I could either leave or have him come to therapy, but as you read, he refuses. I just feel confused. I know that I can be needy and insecure and wonder if it's me. That if I didn't always need to talk about issues, if it would be better. Then thinking, what if I make a mistake? But then I think, what kind of mistake? He shuts me down, has physically abused me in the past. I know some of our arguments in the past were because we were both drinking and I would bring up infidelity, but I don't think that warrants physical abuse. But when he drinks now, I'm scared. Scared to say anything that would set him off, which can be the smallest innocent thing sometimes. Worried that he's going to burn the house down cause he's cooking while drunk before bed, etc. I'm scared of what will happen once the girls move. Will it be worse or better cause he's finally humbled? I don't think so though, cause many things to have happened that would humble someone, but not for him. He thinks he's invincible and can't be touched. He has a warped sense of self. Always says that would never happen. Sometimes I think I'm too much of a pessimist and he's falsely too optimistic. Again, is it me? What if he winds up with a woman who is secure, doesn't need validation or to talk? Or is that silly? I can move out this weekend if that's what I decide to do. I know it's sudden for him, but I feel like he also has brought all of this on himself. I will worry that he'll spiral and will drink more than ever and something bad happen, but I can't control him. I'm very afraid of what I said above, but something is telling me to go. I've never had this much of an urge or feeling to leave before. Now that his kids are leaving and I feel the need to go. Just feel like there's something behind it. Believe it or not, woman is always wanting him. I see it when we're out and he's had emotional or physical with some at work. Maybe it's because they don't know him yet. So, I already know he'll be dating again right away, and I feel like I even know who it will be, and she seems to have her stuff together, good family life, extra confident, lots of friends and a social life, where I don't deal with my family cause or dysfunction, don't have a social life or many friends and am always home. How I've been be attractive to any man? Again, I'm also so scared of starting over now. I'll be 45 in September. I have needy issues and crave love and attention and feel like it's so late to start working on myself. I've never been alone for long. So, I know that I have so much to work on myself. It's not too late. What if I lose my job and can't afford where I'm moving, etc.? What if I've been too harsh with boundaries for the girls and he knows this and that's why he's so upset and defensive? What if I've been too needy, clingy and demanding? He's seen my emotional breakdowns, knows where I'm weak, knows I'm on meds, knows how insecure I am. So yes, I know I look crazy to him. I feel like I've acted crazy too. He has an idea of where I applied to move. It's where we used to live. With regards to past physical, is it true that even though it hasn't happened for a long time, is there a chance it will again? What if he agrees to stop drinking and therapy? Again, I know I haven't been an angel either. I can be demanding and high maintenance sometimes. I'm not trying to make excuses. Just fear kicking in and wondering if we both took active steps in working on ourselves. Also, I don't know how I would do this with help from others who work full-time. It would have to be on a weekend, which he's always home. One more thing. I have been a bit controlling too sometimes. I'm a perfectionist and sometimes I require a lot. Don't like to take no for an answer when I need to talk. I also don't like when his family comes to visit or to visit them anybody out of town. They're very judgmental and are big drinkers too. His sisters can be kind but then also very unfriendly. Of course, I bring this up and even though he says they're judgmental too, it's always just me. Someone they want to visit and things like that, I always give them a hard time because I would rather not be around it and I like to keep peace in my home. So, things like that I'm not very accommodating or easy to deal with about because it's always an argument. Just give me examples of how sometimes I can be difficult also. The apartments I'm moving to I'm comfortable at, feel safe with secure entry and is affordable. The past physical I feel like I caused when we're drinking and arguing, but he was cheating and we had so many unresolved issues that it would come out of me. There were times I did nothing though. Seems mostly when he has drunk whiskey and he doesn't drink that anymore. But yes, he can be crabby when he doesn't have weed. The mood swings the day after those were always hard. I gave him ultimatums at that point and he said he would stop but still did. It's been a while since but still. Yes, he's not capable of owning up. It has happened a handful of times. He also never apologized. It's if I wouldn't have or if I would keep my mouth shut, he wouldn't have to, and many times he says I'm a martyr and victim. That I bring these situations on myself, so stop playing the victim. I don't think us living apart would ever work. I don't trust him. I moved out once and he had a woman in our home that I moved out of 2 weeks later. So, yeah, I don't expect that will change. He came home and I said we should talk, and he said not a good idea because I've had 5 beers. Can we talk tomorrow? I made him drink water, said he had enough. I came upstairs to relax and go down, and he went through 4 of my wine coolers. I get he's having a hard time about the girls, but there are better and healthier ways to deal with it other than going to the bar, having 5 beers, and gambling money you don't have to lose. I'm staring at him and I don't feel love. I feel sorry for him. I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it. He needs help. So again, the guilt kicks in. What kind of wife leaves her husband when he's down the most and everyone is leaving? What will he do to himself when I'm gone, etc.? I know, not my problem. Just hard, you guys. Go ahead. I'm needing major tough love right now. I do feel stupid, believe me. I know that I can't fix him. It's been made very clear. I'm just sad. I'm so sad. My hands are trembling as I type this because I love him so much. Everything about him other than those things has been the perfect match for me. I'm afraid I won't find anyone that has the qualities he has that I like. Not the bad. I'm really scared to do all of this. Just so many fears in my heart are hurting in the worst way. I feel like I failed myself and my daughter. Update. So today is the day that I'm supposed to go and sign my new lease. I'm super nervous and scared. Still questioning if I'm doing the right thing because I've been watching YouTube videos on abusive relationships, etc., and I've come to the realization that I can be really controlling and I have been emotionally abusive at times. When I say controlling, it's in regard to him getting his daughters on his off weekends because there are off weekends, or when his family wants to visit because I really don't like them all that much and just prefer to not have them there, when he's super close to them and grew up in a very tight-knit family environment. So, I've always given him a hard time about that. So, I'm sure he feels resentful because he probably thinks I don't love them. When I say emotionally abusive, I mean by giving the constant guilt trips when he does have to get them on an off weekend. I have shown no respect by whining and sending a gazillion texts of how he's mistreating me, putting his ex first over my needs, etc., and it turns into a huge argument instead of me just respecting that he's trying to be a good dad and just spend time with them as much as he can. I should respect that. However, I have put time with my daughter to the side many times in fear of him getting upset and saying that I have to spend time with the girls or that I'm never around. So now that I think about it more. Anyway, I have been emotionally abusive with the guilt trips and you never this and you never that. Like my last post here where he said just go, it was after a calm conversation of me asking him if he has ever wanted to live alone because he never really has. He separated from his wife, him and I got together very fast and things happened super quick. Same for me, I've always been in long-term relationships and have never really been single all that long or lived alone all that long. I told him that we both have issues that we need to work on and I can't expect him to change just like he can't expect me to change. We can only do so much and that maybe we're just not meant to be partners. That we both deserve happiness and if that's what it takes. I told him I just want peace. Nothing over my head and I don't have peace now with how things have been. He said I understand and I can say the same thing. That I want peace from so many conversations and so many texts over things that aren't really necessary. He said we can find peace here together. He said that I'm not restricted. That I can work out, go out, do whatever. He said living alone will just be me and a cat and me cleaning up his poop and that'll be peaceful. Then I said if we could just get it right. I said I'm traumatized by being shut down so many times and he said I was shut down because of the repetitive talks. Then he asked me if I'm still traumatized today and I said yes. That when he shuts me down, I do. That's when he said okay, so you need validation. Just move. There's your validation so you're not traumatized anymore. That's when I said well, I hope you can afford this place cause it's going to happen sooner than you think. He said I know you've been looking and I said yep. He closed door and walked away. He does on a daily basis ask me how I want my evening to go or if I want to work out with him. During the times that he has talked sometimes the answers aren't good enough for me and I keep pushing. So, I'm not making excuses to not leave. I'm just coming to the realization where I'm wrong and what I need to work on. Weeks later. So, I'm having a really hard time. Can't stop crying. Having a major weak moment. I talked to him and saw him to get a few things and again feel so guilty for leaving him when he's jobless, but I didn't really. Like I paid for half of the rent and left 2 beds, the dining table and all of the food and a few other things. So, he's covered until the end of the month with all of that. I also gave him 40 and brought him breakfast and cigarettes for helping me move. Just feel like a really unsupportive and selfish wife. He acted super annoyed at first and then warmed up. Thing that is getting me is that he's not even fighting for us. Like I would think that with his wife moving out and the seriousness of that impending divorce he would be trying to win me back. And he went out tonight to watch the football game at the bar with who knows who. He never really went out when we lived together, but he is now. Again, instead of trying to win me back or show me that he wants to change. It's total opposite. What is that all about? A game plays. My emotions are a roller coaster right now and instead of feeling stronger I'm feeling weaker and feeling like I made a mistake. I can't help how I feel. But I don't get any of how he's acting or why I'm feeling such a mess. Just processing things. He has stayed here a few nights and starting to make himself comfy and at home. I said okay for a few nights but he's left clothes here and stuff. I know I'm doing the wrong thing but it's so hard for me. I told my daughter every night that I wish I was alone, causing the whole point of moving here was to leave, but my guilt has set in because he has nothing. Still on strike and can't find under the table work, making no more than $240 a week. So, I feel bad cause he's my husband. I let his older sister know everything that has happened because they know how he can be, and her response was, wow, sounds like Satan is working overtime. That's all you have to say. Guess him and his family are unable to talk. So yes, I'm on and not okay. I feel so dumb and so mad at myself for allowing all of this to happen and then disrespect myself on top of it all. Now I screwed up and don't know what to do. Please take it easy on me. I know what I did was wrong and I don't know what to do now. I am so mentally and physically exhausted by this all that my body has shut down. It's crazy. I think I've mentioned this before, but we had to the end of the month to have everything out of the house, which I took all of my stuff out, and everything that was left downstairs was his and his children's, and he promised me that he would take care of it, so I left the electric and gas on in his name so that he could do that and take care of things, and nothing was done. I know that he went last week once or twice and did just a few things, but it wasn't that much. I went over there today because today is the last day to get everything out to see, and I mean there was so much that had yet to be done. He was supposed to do it on Monday and decided to go golfing instead with his friend and get drunk all night, wound up being late to work, then too hungover to do any work on Tuesday, and here we are today, and I went over there and try to help as much as I can, and I was upset, so I said what happened. I said I left everything on for you so that you could get everything done and you have all of the time off of work, so I'm trying to understand why nothing was really done, and if I would have known that this was going to happen I would have just come over here the last month and chipped away at it and got it done, because you know that this affects me and my credit as well as yours, and I didn't want anything bad to go on there. He got upset and said that it doesn't matter that it's getting done now, and I said it doesn't matter because I'm trying to understand why it's so hard for you to do anything responsible, and she got upset and said I said that this is all ridiculous, and he said yes, it is all ridiculous, and I said what's ridiculous is that you talk to me the way that you do and you treat me the way that you do, and yet I'm still here trying to help you get everything out of here just because it was partly my responsibility, although I don't have to. He then said you were looking for a way to get out of here, which is why you moved and which is why I'm stuck here doing this all alone. I said yes, I did leave, however you know the reasons that I left, and I wasn't looking for a reason. Of course I never wanted to leave. I sat here for years and tried to get you to see, so don't you dare tell me that I was looking for a way out. I said how dare you try and make me feel like it's all me after everything, after you pushed me, after I'm walking around with bruises still in pain from them. I'm still here trying to help you and you're still putting it all on me. He yelled so loud at me and said it is all you, it's always been all you. I started crying. I told him not to come to the apartment, that I don't want him here. And he said, yep, there you go, that's exactly what you were trying to do, trying to find an excuse to leave and not have me come there. I just left. He just texted and said, please don't leave me high and dry. Last minute. I said, I'm not leaving you high and dry, you had months and I'm just so sick and tired of all of this. I said, if you're planning on coming here to get your bag, let me know and I'll leave it in the car. I said, all this time I try to be a good wife and take care of you, and all you did was take advantage of me. He said, I never took advantage of you, I was just trying to take care of you. I told him I don't need you to take care of me, I never have need you to take care of me. I know that he has to come here for his bag for work tomorrow and I don't want to see him. And of course, like the way that I always feel after a fight with him, I feel like I'm the one in the wrong, and I feel like he said everything's always all my fault. Please tell me it's not. Half a year later. Life has been crazy. After my surgery I got back on medication, my depression went away. I started therapy about a month ago and I have been feeling so much better mentally. I'm not perfect, but more of a positive outlook on certain things, which I haven't had in a very long time. The one thing that hasn't changed is that my husband is still here and he has been worse than ever. The last few months have been hell, with him drinking and driving at level that I've never seen before, also gambling, disappearing for hours and coming home to the point where he is so drunk that he has been falling on the ground, passing out, etc., which is the worst that I've seen him in the whole 12 years that we've been together. I know that in my previous post I have explained that he is an addict. I told him that if he continues on the path that he was going to wind up killing himself for killing someone on the road. Again, because I've never seen him this bad where he doesn't even remember where he is or what he's done. Well, he did get it DUI and it was the Sunday before last. This is his 6th DUI, 3 of them before we were together and 3 of them while we were together. I was praying that something like this would happen because I thought that maybe it would be a wake-up call, that he would change. And then after everything he has done, after everything that we have been through, that he would no longer want to hurt me and do better for himself and for our marriage. Him and I have just been coexisting. I have told him numerous times that I am not happy. I know that he's not happy and that I want him to leave, but he obviously has not taken me seriously because this has been a threat that I have given for a very long time now, and he's still living here. Well, after he promised me after this last incident that he would never drink again and get the help that he needs, he went out last night and was at the bar for 8 hours after work and didn't drive because he can't, but went to work at midnight, wound up staying overnight there. He is the vainest person I know, and for him to go to work and stay there overnight and wake up the next morning knowing that he was going to be around a ton of people that he was wearing the day before in the same clothes just to me said, well, this rock bottom, especially because all of this is happening a week after he was arrested. I told him today that he needs to get out, that I no longer want to be a wife of an alcoholic, that I understand he's in a dark place as he misses his children and him, and I have not been doing well, that I have been checked out, and I understand, but there's no excuse for all of this. I told him he doesn't love himself, so there's no way that he can love me, and he needs help. I have offered to go with him to get help. I have offered so many things to help him, but he doesn't take the offer. He just keeps saying that he has the control to stop it. He said today that he felt horrible about it, but he knows that he can stop whenever he wants, and that he doesn't have a disease nor is an addict. I told him that this is a problem because unless he believes that there is an issue, he will not get the help that he needs, and he will continue to do the same thing. There may be times of brief moments where he does not for a few days, but it will happen again. He has been on a crazy downward spiral also since he started hanging around this friend at work that is such a bad influence on him. I'm not blaming his friend, however. I know that my husband has been acting very different since hanging around him. Sometimes I wonder if they were having an affair or something behind my back, because that's how crazy and differently things have been so quickly in the last few months. So I am at a point where now I'm feeling even more guilty because I'm seeing the self-destruction, and I am seeing this person that I never saw before. I mean, I saw this behavior before, but never this frequently and never to this level. In my thoughts were, if I was in loving and supporting wife, is it's the right thing to do to leave? Or actually not me leave because I am situated in my apartment and he's not on the lease, but make him leave when he has nowhere to go. I know that with everything that has happened, including the physical in the past, including issues with his children, including the verbal abuse, emotional abuse, and all of these things, that putting him out is the right thing to do, right? He has me stuck in a place because he told me that he would have to stay at a hotel and that he's having a hard time finding an apartment that fits his budget. I know that that is not my problem. I know that my job is not to save him. He has to want to help himself and save himself, but he keeps saying that he's going to do that and he doesn't. I feel like unless his children were living with us full time, he would not be happy and he would continue down this downward spiral. And that is so unfair to me, because a healthy, normal human being would accept the fact that his situation is the way that it is with his children and learn to deal with it in healthier ways. I really am at a point where I am so done. As hard as it may seem in his heart, it will be for me to do. I know in my deepest heart of hearts that I have to let this go. I can't let him try and talk me into believing that he will change and then we have a bright future like he says. There has been no sign other than 5 days this just recently where he didn't have a drink. So, to me that's definitely not long enough. I know for my safety that it's not good for him to be living with me, and last night I was so worried that he was going to come here and do something crazy because he was drunk and violent, and I could not sleep, and I prayed to God that he would not come here, and God answered my prayer and he did not come here. So, I don't know, I feel like I know what I need to do, but now that I see the severity of his disease, I feel like I'm being an unsupportive wife by putting him out on the street with nowhere to stay according to him other than a hotel. I really have tried though. For many years I've saved by his side through everything, even though he's done me wrong. I know that I'm not perfect and I know that I have my issues, however I am in therapy and I'm working on myself. He is not. So please, I'm asking for you guys because now I'm at a point of total uncertainty, although I feel like I know what I need to do. Again, reason is because I feel like I know now that this is really a disease that he needs help for, but he doesn't think he needs help, so what can I do? It's out of my hands. Can you all help me here? Because I want him out. I just am feeling guilty more than ever for doing something like that. Or am I wrong in being an unsupportive life by kicking my husband out of my apartment when he is down and out and going through something? Again though, I've offered to help him, I've offered to do positive things with him. But he says what else is he supposed to do? Come home and go to sleep. And that his binge drinking is only twice a week or has only been once since he got the DUI, so there's lots of justifying. He has also done a lot of apologizing and promising that I won't happen again, but has not lived up to that. Please help me. I know that you all are probably not surprised that I'm still in the situation, but I have started therapy. The only mental thing that is killing me right now is dealing with an alcoholic husband that I have no control over, and I just want to be happy and live a positive life and not feel bad for doing that. But I know it's time, too much has happened. I just need some encouragement and support to know that my putting him out because he is an alcoholic and keeps breaking promises on top of everything else that he has done is not the wrong thing to do. He has me questioning myself because he said that would we not have our problems in the marriage, and would he not have the issues where he's missing his children, things would be different. So, I feel that if it were different and I were different, then he wouldn't be drinking like he isn't doing the things that he has. What do I do and how do I approach this? Do I tell him that tonight is his last night here and that I am changing the locks tomorrow and then he has to go and find somewhere to stay until they can get it together and find an apartment? Again, this is my apartment, and when I moved here, he was not supposed to come with me and he was in a bad situation with being laid off, so I just let him come and stay, and I never really got to be alone the way that I wanted to after he pushed me. It was supposed to be done then. And then it was supposed to be done the last time he went out and got super drunk, and the last time after, and the time after, and the time after, and then for sure after the Dewey, and now last night again. It's like, come on. I just want that to be alone and heal my codependency and my problems. Because I know that I am codependent. This is something that I do not deny. I am heartbroken, and the thought of being without him, the good side of him, is killing me. I haven't eaten and I've been crying like crazy. I feel like I'm losing myself more to all of this, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to live a good life, a happy life, a confident life. Please help. I need encouragement and support, and to know that what I'm doing is the right thing, and to also know the best way to approach it. He's gone. He just left. I'm not good. No, please hear what happened, and I have to explain it because of course I feel like I'm in the wrong and I can't stop crying. It all started because he went to run a few errands with his friends who had to go to the bank and get weed. He was just getting here when I got here and was very lovey-dovey, and I asked if he could give me a massage and run me a bath, and it was fine. I did proceed to ask him what they did if you were in the back of this car, if they social distance like they should be, because he really shouldn't be doing anything if it's not necessary. But I understand that he feels like he needs to get out because he's been stuck here. He said he took all the precautions except sit in the front of the car with him, which to me again isn't social distancing, so I said that. He said, well, don't forget that you have to go to work every day downtown, and who knows what you can bring here. I told him that there's only 3 of us in the office, and we all take the necessary precautions with social distancing, so I'm not intentionally bringing anything here, God forbid if I do. He said he would ask me to take them around next time if need be, and I said okay. I said that makes sense because we've been around each other the whole time, etc., etc. I want to take a hot bath and relax because today was a crazy day at work, and of course I have OCD, so my mind was racing about him hanging out with his friend, even if it was for a little bit, because I feel like why are they the exception to the norm? So when I got out of the bath, I wanted to tell him how I felt, and I expressed I don't want to go to work every day right now. It's not a choice. I would rather be working from home like everyone else, but I have to go in. And you doing what you did the last 2 times is irresponsible behavior and putting yourself at risk, putting me at risk when it's not necessary. So when you make decisions like that, it adds stress and not feelings of peace when I get home, because now I feel like I have to social distance from you. He responded with, I told you what I said earlier, and I said that I would ask you from now on, why are you talking about this again? Why is it necessary? I told him it's necessary because I didn't explain it to him the way that I'm explaining it to him now, and it's just on my mind because we're just going to be hitting the peak, and he obviously never takes me seriously, so I felt like I needed to reiterate what I thought. He told me I was wasting my time and it was unnecessary. So, I said, if you can't handle me having a conversation with you about how I feel, even if I'm reiterating why without making me feel like I'm wrong, then you need to leave. You should just go because this isn't fair to me. He told me I was being weird and said he doesn't want to talk about this for another hour, and proceeded to walk into the other room, to where I followed him because I thought it was so rude. I was simply expressing how I felt and was hoping for a better response. Maybe something like, I know it's hard for you to go to work every day. It sucks, and I don't mean to put extra stress on your extra worry, and I'm sorry. But now I got the anger and the walking away, and I'm being weird. So, I started crying because I didn't understand what I did to warrant that, and of course because of how he has talked to me for so many years, I feel weird, and I feel wrong, and I feel dumb, and I feel like I'm in trouble for ever saying anything. And I said, I'm amazed at how you can get me to feel this way when I'm so good to you. He said, you're the one who just asked me to leave, and I said, why did I ask you to leave? Because I can't even have a conversation with you in my home without you making me feel bad about it, and walking away in the middle of it, making me feel like nothing that I have to say is valid or has meaning to you. I said, regardless of if I'm repeating it, it's not like I'm saying it's like harass you, it's just because I don't want you to be upset with me for sending these boundaries. He told me that I'm not a victim, that none of this had to happen today, and that all I had to do was not say anything more, that he came in and was loving and said he would ask me next time. But again, I don't trust anything that he says because I can't, and he's showing that he doesn't take me seriously. He packed his bags and was looking for his passport because he doesn't have an ID to get a hotel. I walked out a while later and he was sitting on the couch, and I said, you're not leaving? He said he couldn't catch a ride with a friend or Uber or anything. Then I said, do you feel bad for making me feel bad when all I wanted to do was talk? He said that none of us again had to happen, that I started it. He said, I know what I did to me, like I know what I did, and that I asked him to leave and she knows the truth, and he said, you did good, thanks for doing so good today. To where I got angry and I said, no, you did good. I said he did good as usual, making me feel completely invalidated, and walking away. I said, I know what I deserve and it's not this. I said, get your bag and I'll drop you off myself, and he said, I'm not telling you where I'm going, and I said, why do you think I'm going to follow you there? That's the last thing I'm going to do. Because I'm so stressed and anxious right now, I decided to take another bath. Crazy, right? And when I got out, he had his bag at the door and said he was leaving now. I did ask him when he was leaving, and he set out into coronavirus world across the street at a hotel, and I started crying because I just can't believe this happening, and proceeded to say, are you going to leave your key? He said no, because he's going to have to come back and get us things at some point. I said, you really have to ruin everything. He said thanks for those your final words to me. I didn't say anything and proceeded to lock the door. So here I am feeling bad because I'm questioning, was I too harsh? We talked about it once earlier, did I need to bring it up again? Now he's out stating who knows, we're probably exposing himself more to the virus, which is what I told him I didn't want him doing earlier. Now I'm worried if he does get sick or something bad happens, it's all my fault. I just am spinning right now. I can't stop crying, I'm crying so hard. I'm sad, I'm angry, lost, and mostly I feel like I did something wrong. Like whom does this to somebody during this time in the world? All because I got angry that he walked away in the middle of a conversation that he was just tired of having. He wasn't really going to do it, or that he really wasn't going to leave. Well, he did. He moved out today. He moved to the neighborhood that his daughters wanted to live in for social status. Can't even afford it, even though I suggested to move to somewhere more affordable because there's no guarantee that the girls are going to stay. And why is he going to strap himself for where his kids want to live? Why is the adult parent, can't he make a smart decision for everybody? This is one of the main reasons, amongst other things, that we couldn't be together, which you all know. He went to court for his last due and they made him wear a monitor bracelet for 40 days. So, he hasn't been drinking for about a month. Of course, things have been wonderful and he has been so good the last month, we have gotten along great, so today is extra hard. Because I'm holding on to that. And now I'm regretting making him move because I did see this good side of him. My comment, be kind to yourself. You have been traumatized. Yes, you do tend to go on, but guess what? That doesn't give him any rights to treat you like crap. You haven't even gotten him out of your life. So, don't focus so much on who will make sure you aren't lonely after he's gone. Get him gone. Focus on you. I forget, do you have a pet? They can make great company if you are careful to select the right kind for you. They are also mind-calming and have shown to have great health benefits. The best part, most pets will love you unconditionally and always be happy to see you. They are great listeners too.